Well, hello friends! Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some simple, low-budget meal options for low-energy days. Grocery hauls and what I eat on a regular basis are things that I get requested to share quite often. I am chronically ill and I'm also neurodivergent. I have ADHD. So sometimes it's very hard to feed myself. And so it's very important that I always have some easy recipes or ingredients that I know that I can combine easily as meal options that are still nutritious, that are on a low budget, because ain't nobody can afford to buy expensive groceries. I do all of my grocery shopping at discounts, but also that can ensure me to be ready to eat in 20 minutes max. A few disclaimers before we get started. Number one, by no means this is fully and entirely representative of how my diet looks like. My diet is not perfect, not aims to be perfect. I am just someone with a real life and real struggles who wants to share with you what works for me, so maybe it gives you inspiration. I'm not here to give you nutritional tips, medical tips of any sort. This is what works for me, this is what I do, and this is what's going to be part of this video. Number two, I'm going to try to include for every meal that I share some kind of price breakdown or at least costs per serving. I live in Berlin, and luckily if you go to buy groceries at discounts, they are still affordable. So I am able to feed myself with a relatively low budget. Depending on what I need to buy and what I need to stock up on, I am ranging between the 35 euros to 45 per week when it comes to groceries, which I think is awesome. I know that not everybody is this lucky and that in other countries or cities, groceries are really expensive. So I'm just sharing this from my perspective of someone who has been living here in Berlin, and this is what feeding myself costs me on a low budget. Last but not least, about my diet. Well, I was a vegan for a very long time. I think it must have been about 7 years before I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and the rheumatologist that I had at the time highly encouraged me to change my diet and to explore other food options. So for a while, I was a vegetarian on occasional fish consumption. Sometimes I was going fantastic with that diet. Sometimes I really hated it as a former vegan. I eliminated fish and I tried to adjust and go back to a fully plant-based diet, but unfortunately, I don't think I can rely on a fully plant-based diet any longer. It's just not sufficient for me. I am especially craving and needing other sources of protein that are not entirely plant-based. And so right now I am basically a vegan vegetarian. Call it whatever you want to call it. I really don't care. This is what works for me. I know it's not ideal and I know it's not perfect, especially because I went vegan years ago for environmental reasons, but I'm just trying to do my best. Life is already hard enough, so please give me a break. Thank you. So enough with the chit-chatting, let's get into eating. Let's start with breakfast. Sometimes I do vary, but most of the times I tend to eat a variation of the classic: oats, either porridge or oats with various toppings. This week I went for this fancy granola, and here is the moment I'm realizing it will not fit in the jar. Obviously oats and a splash of plant-based milk and fresh fruit. Here I added strawberries, which are in season, and I love them. Every once in a while, especially during the summer, I crave a fresh smoothie for breakfast. My go-to is with beets, frozen strawberries, banana, and plant-based milk. Moving on to lunch and/or dinner examples. This first one is an example of something I do quite often. Use up leftovers and combine them into something new. In this case, a savory porridge. I thrive on leftovers and always have some, as when I prepare meals, I always cook more than one serving. This week, I decided to use up some cooked kale. I buy it frozen, half a sliced zucchini I didn't use up for a previous recipe, and a red kidney beans dip that I made. I sauteed the zucchini first, then added the kale, oats, the dip, and a splash of soy milk to combine everything and make it creamy. A weirdly assorted combination of ingredients, but easy to make and very tasty. Germans really love their Abendbrot, evening bread, and who am I to say no to a nice tradition? I try to always have on hand a few things for my very own Abendbrot, so when shit really hits the fan and I can't bring myself to do anything, I can have something ready in literally 3 minutes. This is definitely not something that I would eat every day, even though it's delicious, but I try to do my best and to pimp it up with things like veggies and hummus, for example. Here I'm making 2 sandwiches with a slice of protein bread. I usually don't put another slice on top. I'm very weird, I know. Hummus, lettuce, cucumber, 1 slice of vegan bologna, and 1 of low-fat cheese. I'm a big fan of throwing a bunch of ingredients into a plate and calling it a salad. This one is my lazy, colorful variation of a tuna salad. First, chickpeas that I roughly mash a bit with this potato masher. Then I add whatever I have on hand. Here I had a sad half avocado, vine tomatoes, lettuce, a bit of cucumber, olives, and a couple of small carrots. For more protein, I added some cottage cheese and some light yogurt mayo for taste. Very quick to make, super tasty, and super duper filling. This one requires a few steps, but it's still ready in 20 minutes. Frozen veggies are my best friends in the kitchen. They save me a lot of cutting that sometimes my hands can't easily do. Here I'm using broccoli, which I cooked first with lid, then without to let all the water evaporate. In the meantime, I boiled some water for the rice. Once the broccoli were starting to get brown, I added spring onions, smoked tofu, and corn. I had a bit of peanut butter left, so I mixed it with some water and a splash of soy sauce to make a peanut sauce. Definitely worth the effort. This is always a good option, but especially when there's a heat wave and it's too hot to cook anything. Here, I'm quickly preparing 2 dips to go with cut up carrots, cucumber, red bell pepper, and in oil marinated mushrooms. The first dip is made of vine tomatoes and plain tofu, olive oil, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Super quick to make and very tasty. I recommend squeezing the tofu a bit before throwing it in the mixer so it releases some liquid. The second dip is just super simple hummus. A light, balanced meal done with minimum effort. This is so easy to make, it almost feels like cheating. All I do is to cook this frozen creamed spinach, and in the meantime to boil some water for the pasta, usually whole grain or spelt. Once the pasta is cooked, I mix it in with the creamed spinach and add some protein, in this case some low-fat cottage cheese. Delicious, filling, very low effort, and ready in just 15 minutes. And that is going to be it for today's video, folks. I really hope that you have enjoyed it and that this video gave you some inspiration or some ideas on how you can feed yourself when you have low energy days, if you're chronically ill, if you're also neurodivergent, if you're struggling for some reason. You still have to feed yourself, and I hope that this helps you. What helps me is trying to be prepared. It doesn't always work, and I don't always buy 100% super healthy things. Sometimes I am very good at, feeding myself and eating nutritious and healthy things, and sometimes I just don't for various reasons, and that is absolutely okay. But I find that having things at home that allow me to do things quickly and going kind of like on autopilot without having to think too much and to spend too much time in the kitchen really helped me. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure to let me know, because it helps me immensely when I share content to have interaction with you, so I know that you have enjoyed it. It helps to support my work as a content creator and to support my channel. So give this video a like, share it with anyone who might find it helpful or inspiring, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you still haven't, because it is a cool community here. We are cool people, we have a lot of fun, so join the gang. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!